Okay, welcome to the assembly video for the wheel stand. Here are all the components laid out ready for assembly. During assembly, it is more than likely that you will need a hammer and a crosshead screwdriver. Please have these ready just in case. The components you should have received are: here we have the base, next we have the two long support legs, then the two short support legs, then the cross brace, and then the top. The nuts and bolts. First we have two 100mm, four 75s and two 50mm. You can see that I've arranged the nuts and bolts here with the relevant washers as to how they should be affixed when attaching them to the stands, and then you have the four screws here which attach the cross brace. Okay, once you have all of your parts ready for assembly, like so, what you'll need to do is position the base so that the pair of mounting blocks are furthest away from you. Once you've positioned your stand, you will need to grab the two long legs. You'll find marked on each leg somewhere an R and an L. This refers to the side of the stand that they fit into as if you were driving. When attaching your support legs, it should be noted that the side with the most cutaway on this occasion, that is this side here, should be facing downwards. So the leg, when it's in the stand, should be like that one. Place the long legs between the double mounting blocks and slide through a 100mm bolt. Once you've done this, grab one of the nuts. No washers required for this one, as there's very little stress on this joint, and simply tighten it up finger tight. The purpose of this nut is to stop the bolt sliding out. The next stage is to attach the two support legs. You'll find marked on them an L and an R. It should be noted that each leg is not symmetrical. The side with the most cutaway goes on the bottom. So they go in this orientation as demonstrated. To attach these two legs, you need to grab two of your 75mm bolts along with the two washers and the two nuts provided. Okay, so as you can see, you just line up the legs, left and right, don't forget is marked on them, along with the orientation, so the side with the most cutout goes on the bottom. Once you've popped your 75mm bolt through on both sides, what you want to do next is place a washer over the end of each bolt, and then you want to do these up as tight as you can with your fingers. If you can use a pair of pliers at this point, then it is recommended, just to give you a little bit extra stability in the stand. But finger tight should be fine. Okay, so next we want to attach the mechanism for the legs. For this we'll need the two 50mm bolts, the two large washers and the two wing nuts. Once you've got those, what you'll need to do is fold over the main legs, and then what you'll need to do is grab one of the 50mm bolts and put it through one of the holes in the main leg. This might be a useful point to grab the hammer, as it is quite a stiff, quite a snug fit. It will go there with a little bit of gentle persuasion. What I would say at this point is make sure that if you are using a hammer, you don't just hit it and hit it and hit it, because this leg here, the grooves in this leg, don't always 100% match up when the legs aren't completely folded flat. So what we were able to do now is just because there's a tiny bit of the bolt poking through on this side, I don't know if you can see, just a little bit. What I can do now is if we can move the support leg, you'll see and hear actually clip into place there. Okay, Then what we can do is just gently hit with the hammer again. And hey presto, we have a mechanism. Put on your main washer and your wing nut. And then you have the one touch assembly that is so easy to use. Just repeat the process on the other side. I'll stand back for this so that it's a lot easier to see. Just make sure you've got the bolt lined up with the holes. Make sure you put on your washer. This is really important to prevent wear on the mechanism over time. And there we have it. The stand is really starting to take shape. So here's your cross brace. It's just a rectangular piece of wood. There are 2 holes drilled in each leg, which match up with a pair of holes drilled in the end of the cross brace. Okay, so the easiest way to actually attach the cross brace is if you look on the cross brace itself, there's actually some pencil writing on top that says left, right, top and TV. So obviously the TV arrow points towards the back of the stand. That helps you align and orientate the cross brace. Now what you want to do to actually line it up with the pilot holes that are drilled in the cross brace with the pilot holes that are drilled in the legs is grab 2 screws and your screwdriver. Grab 2 screws and your screwdriver and just put them through so as they're poking out the other side by about that much. That much being a couple of millimeters. Be very careful you don't hurt yourself at this point. I'd hate to think that would happen to anybody. Okay, so once you have your leg like that, grab your cross brace, look at the orientation markings on the top of it, and line them up. And to be honest with you, you should just feel them slot into place. Both of the pilot holes are quite large, and the screws should really go in without very much resistance at all. So once you have your cross brace in place, simply do up the screws. Okay, and then just repeat on the second one. Fantastic. Now the next thing is obviously to repeat this on the other side. This is a bit easier this time because we have somebody holding the cross brace, the screws. So if I hold the camera here, sorry it's a little bit wobbly, but it's the only way we could think to do this. If I hold the camera here, you'll see the screw very gently start to poke its head out. Keep going. Yeah, that'll do. So you can see it's literally 1 millimetre, 2 millimetres worth of screw poking through. Not enough to actually bite, but just enough to give you an idea of where the screw is if you can't see it. Okay, once both of those screws are through, what you'll be able to do is gently move the cross brace around like so. It's difficult with a camera. And you'll gently feel them slot into place like so. Once you've done that, simply do up the screws. Okay, if you're still with me, all we have left to do now is to attach the top of the stand. Here is the top of this stand. What you will see on Logitech stands and some others is a thicknesser. If your stand doesn't have this, there'll be an arrow telling you the direction in which the stand is intended to be assembled. If yours does have a thicknesser like this one, this goes closest to you. Now, what you need to do is on the bottom of each top piece there are 2 mounting blocks. these will need to slide over the ends of each leg, and the top simply slots into place like this. Now, what you need to do is line up the holes through here with the holes in the leg. Once you've done that, you'll need to take your two 75mm bolts, your two nuts and your two washers, and simply poke them through the holes. Okay, once your bolt is through, what you'll need to do is simply grab a washer and a nut, put the washer on first, and then do up your nut finger tight. Do this for both sides. Once you've done that, the assembly of your wheel stand is complete. Yay! So just a quick recap, you'll need the two 100mm bolts in this one, a 75mm bolt in this one, a 50 here, and a 75 here. Same goes on both sides. Hope you enjoy your wheel stand.